So I'm excited to welcome a special group of students from UCI and their Rocket Project Liquids team. The UCI Rocket Project Liquids team is a fully undergraduate collegiate program, and this team has just launched UCI's first liquid rocket last spring. So I want to welcome Michael Ross and Kyle Deck to the stage to tell us more about it.
Some nights I stay up, cashing in my bad luck. Some nights I call it a draw. Some nights I...
Testing, cool. Yeah, so I'm Kyle. I'm the project manager for the UCI Rocket Project Liquids team, and then I'm joined by Michael Ross, who is our assistant project manager from last year, as well as our safety engineer. So yeah, I will go, see if this works, cool. Yeah, so first of all, I just want to give a massive thank you to Janelle and Rita and to all of Octane for allowing us to be here. I know we're super excited to talk about our project and also just to be in the presence of all of you guys. I know both Michael and myself are very interested in hardware startups and the startups world in particular. So we really couldn't be more excited to talk to all of you guys and just to have the chance to be here. So we're going to go through a quick 5-minute presentation on kind of just the history of our project from those of you who are unfamiliar with it, as well as what we're planning to do in the next year or two.
All right, yeah, so the project was actually founded in 2005. Now, this was actually pretty recent news to us as well, as they really focused on solid rockets back then, and they didn't really have too much of an identity. But, I mean, that's even seen in 2014 to 2015, they had a stint working on a raccoon. But it really solidified in 2018 when we received a Base 11 donation, and that allowed us to move on into what we've coined our Methalox era. Now, Methalox is the type of propellants that we use, and that's really prevalent in the new space industry, such as that used by SpaceX on their Starship and Relativity. But just a year after that donation, we were able to move on to our first static test fire, which was a success. Now, after learning some things from that and working to change, we had our second static test fire, but this was unfortunately unsuccessful. Now, from what we learned there, just 1 year later, we came back and had our third static test fire, which was a huge success and allowed us to move on to vertical test fires. Now, our first vertical test fire, it wasn't much of a test fire. We had some issues and weren't actually able to hot fire. But from what we learned there, we were able to make the adjustments and fix our system. And just January of last year, we had our first vertical test fire, and it was a huge success. And here's a video. So yeah, that was our first vertical test fire. It was an amazing experience for all of us, and yeah, essentially a vertical test fire, it tests the system in near launch configuration. So from the huge success of that, we were able to turn around really quickly, and just 3 months later, we were able to launch UCI's first liquid rocket.
You know what they're saying. You're not the real hero. Young Metro don't trust you. I'm the real hero. All the villains is grinning. Motherfucker, you better run. Is winning. Must I remind you one more time? Must I remind you? I've been going so long now. It's lit. I like the 504 boys, how I move through the lobby. 612 the flame behind just to show you the time frame. 100 mil down on my desk, but I'm still up deciding. Mash your M's in my account to the truck in my driveway. I'm in that photo by myself. Know it's 100 more 100 outside. Know they gon' ride to the death.
Yeah, so really a video, I mean, as awesome as that video is, it really can't describe what that's like to be out in the Mojave and to launch that. Even the vertical test fire, when you're out there and you feel that in your chest, it's really indescribable. So obviously that was UCI's first liquid rocket. So now just to talk about kind of what we're doing now. So we launched that one to 9,100 feet. And we also, the part that you didn't see at the end of when the camera was on the rocket is the unsuccessful recovery. So that's one of the things that we're working on improving. It's one of the most difficult things to get in all of rocketry. So it's a good learning experience for all of us. So that's definitely the #1 priority on top of actually breaking the collegiate Methalox altitude record, so for our specific fuel type. So that is currently 13,205 feet, held by San Diego State, which is also a Southern California university. So we're 4,000 feet away, basically, and our goal is to break that. But not just to break it, but to break it within 2 years, which is, I think, the biggest challenge for all of us. That first rocket that you saw took 6 years to build. Granted, COVID was in the middle of that, but we're going down to 2 years, and that's really the biggest challenge for all of us, is to do that. So we have a test fire planned for the fall of next year, as well as, obviously, our launch would be completing the cycle in the spring of 2025. And yeah, that's really kind of what we have going on. We're going to stick around. We're going to be here for a while. So if any of you guys have any questions, we're happy to answer them. We actually brought our previous nose cone, as well as the old nose cone, and our new fuel injector prototype. They're all out there. So we'll be out there to talk if any of you guys are more interested in learning about what we're doing. But yeah, just massive thank you to Janelle and Octane and Rita as well for organizing all of this. We're super excited to be here. And now we'll hand it off to the space panel, who are doing basically what we're doing, but on a much larger scale. And so hopefully we can learn from them right after this. So thank you guys.